I'm going to give you an example today of what we intend to do about it and continue doing about it as we go forward. Again, I've been to conferences all over the United States, and they have the same common problem everywhere with deadly fentanyl killing youth, killing whoever it is who ingests it. There's tens of thousands of overdose deaths in the United States of America over the last several years, attributed 100% to overdose of fentanyl. And we're going to give you an example here that you can show the public what the difference in the pills look like. And the pills are made illegally. They're counterfeit. They're made in Mexico. They look almost exactly like the ones manufactured at a pharmaceutical facility. Only thing is, they're counterfeit and they contain fentanyl. And there's very few there's no whatsoever, there's no quality control when they manufacture this fentanyl or these fentanyl-laced pills. And what they use the fentanyl for, I've been asked this many times, what the fentanyl is used for is to make the drug more potent, and in doing so, making it more potent, you can, what we call, cut the drugs numerous times and make 10 times what you would have been able to sell for you make 10 times that much money by cutting it over and over and over again and still having the same potency. But the problem with that is the lack of quality control. They're not manufactured in a laboratory environment. Therefore, one grain of fentanyl will kill you. 1 grain, the size of a pinhead. So I'm going to get off my soapbox now and go ahead and tell you what we're doing here today. On Wednesday, April 17, 2024, at approximately 3:15 p.m., Smith County investigators responded to Christus Mother Francis emergency room in Tyler regarding an overdose. Upon their arrival, they found out that the victim had succumbed to the overdose and was believed that the cause was fentanyl. The decedent was identified as Corey Darrell Long, 23 years old, of Tyler. Investigators went to a residence on Bird Lane where the overdose took place and were able to recover pills at that location. The pills recovered had the M-30 marking on it and are commonly referred to as perks, which are known to contain fentanyl. The pills were ultimately submitted to the Texas DPS Crime Laboratory, where they both tested positive for fentanyl. Through further investigation, investigators were able to develop a suspect, in this case by the name of Nadarius Tyreek Houston, 24, of Tyler. On April 23, 2024, an arrest affidavit was presented to the Honorable 114th State District Judge Austin Reeve Jackson. Judge Jackson issued a warrant for the arrest of Nadarius Houston for the criminal offense of manufacture, delivery of controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. On April 25, 2024, investigators arrested Nadarius Houston at his residence for the warrant. Houston was also charged with felon in possession of a firearm for a firearm that was found at the location during his arrest. He was ultimately transported to the Smith County Jail, where he was booked in on the aforementioned charges. An autopsy after the death occurred at the Southwestern Institute of Forensic Sciences in Dallas. I'm trying to find my second page here. Thank you. Okay, on September 10th, investigators prepared an arrest affidavit which was presented to the Honorable 114th State District Judge Austin Reeve Jackson for the arrest of Nadarius Houston for the offense of murder, with a bond set at $500,000. Investigators then added that murder charge to Houston, who was already still incarcerated in the Smith County Jail. And now, I believe PIO Larry Christian, Sergeant Christian, has passed out some of these flyers to you with the photo photographs of what the pills look like, and I'll open it up for any questions right now as related to this investigation. Again, this isn't the first time you're going to see it. Until the border is closed, and even with the border being closed, it still is going to be very difficult to stop the fentanyl from coming over, but it is coming over. We've recovered fentanyl on Interstate 20. We recovered it in houses throughout Smith County. And in 1 week, within 2 days, I believe we had 3 deaths that we believe are directly related to fentanyl. And they're all 3, they're not elderly people, they're in their youth. And again, this is happening not only here in Smith County, but it's happening all over the United States. And again, every sheriff I talk to, regardless of what state, I talked to one in New Jersey, and they're having multiple deaths from fentanyl overdose in their counties there. So I'll entertain any questions.
Yeah, my question is, in terms of Mr. Houston, how do you know he was giving out those counterfeit pills that were from across the border?
That you're getting into the questions that's going to be evidence in court, and we can't talk about what is going to be presented in court as evidence. That's going to be produced in trial.
But just to clear it up, you are insinuating that...
I'm not insinuating. I'm telling you that 100% the detective that signed this warrant for this individual can prove that this individual sold the pills to the decedent.
And can prove that they're from across the border?
Well, I can tell you that from experience, going back to methamphetamine when I worked for DEA, the precursor chemicals that manufacture fentanyl are sent from China to Mexico. Then they come across over the porous border. Same thing that happened to methamphetamine back about 1990, 1991 when they stopped the precursor chemical importation into the United States from China. Therefore, it goes from China to Mexico to here. I can also tell you that any fentanyl found in the United States of America, probably 90 to 95% of it is touched, or maybe not touched directly, but is responsible. The drug cartels in Mexico are responsible for the importation and exportation from Mexico of fentanyl into the United States.
So if this has been an ongoing problem that you've seen throughout your career, why have this press conference now and get this word out now with this case?
Well, I'm saying it's been happening throughout my career. This is the first one, quite frankly. Many times the person is dead when we find them. We don't have the opportunity to get the evidence we need to prosecute as to who sold the fentanyl to them or the pills. We have that in this case. And what I'm saying is anytime we have the evidence, 100% of the time they're going to be prosecuted.
What is next in this case? I know you said that a lot of it is going to go to court, and so a lot of the information you cannot disclose because it will be used as evidence, but
Right.
What is next?
Well, the next will be the discovery phase where the defense will get the discovery, and the defendant in this murder investigation will be hire or be provided with an attorney, and it'll go through the same process as any other criminal case does in the county.
If Mr. Houston is found guilty of the charges, what is the punishment?
5 to 99 years or life.
At the time of Houston's arrest, I mean, you said that y'all found a firearm in his house and some possession of a firearm as well as, inside his residence. But y'all didn't find any of this M30s, these counterfeit marks?
No. We didn't have a search warrant for the house, to the best of my knowledge, and I'm assuming that the firearm was in plain view of the detectives who were making the arrest.
Where is Mr. Houston from?
I believe he's from Tyler. Yeah, city of Tyler.
Does he have any priors of, these kind of...
I don't know what kind of priors, and I can't speak to his criminal history, exactly what it is, but he has prior felony conviction. Otherwise, he would not be able to arrest him for felon in possession of a firearm. So I'm not sure what the predicate charge is for that. Yes, ma'am.
So he's been charged with homicide. Why not, like, criminally negligent manslaughter or something like that?
Criminally negligent manslaughter is when somebody does something recklessly, driving a car recklessly. That's what that offense is for. This is pure 100% murder. Everybody has been put on notice many months ago, if not years ago, that this is going to happen, and it's going to continue happening anytime we can prove that they sold it to somebody. It fits the offense. Otherwise, Judge Jackson would not have signed the warrant.
Why was there a delay in adding the murder charge if he was originally booked in April?
Okay, that's a good question. As I said, we did the postmortem autopsy at Swift's in Dallas. The toxicology takes sometimes several months to come up with the toxicology. So we had to wait for the toxicology report to show fentanyl in the during the postmortem investigation.
Have you been in touch with the victim's family, and if so, what has been their response?
I haven't directly been in touch with them. I'm sure the detectives have, but I have not myself.
And have you been in touch with any of Mr. Houston's family?
No, have no reason to.
What is your overall message to anyone in the Smith County area who either has distributed counterfeit pills or has some sort of connection to that?
Well, I'll tell you my message to anyone in Smith County who possesses for distribution, personal use, whatever, as long as it is an illegal substance, they will be arrested and they will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law here in Smith County. That's going to continue happening. I'm getting sick and tired of having to have these conversations about people, especially our youth, dying. If anybody that's ever been in the bedroom where you expect your school-aged child to be coming down to eat breakfast, yet you're in there with a mother and dad when their cold, stiff body is laying in the bed because of fentanyl overdose, and we're sick of it, and we're going to do something about it.
How?
Exactly like we're just doing here.
So, in the future, if there are more cases like this, will you continue to publicize the severity of something like
100%.
So it seems like we're trying to like make a point out of Mr. Houston. I mean, I don't know if this is something that we've done before, but it just seems like this is the line that we're trying to go towards now.
Mr. Houston is an unlucky soul in more ways than one. One, he's going to be prosecuted, and one, he's going to be made an example out of.
What are the resources here in Smith County for people who fear they may have been given counterfeit pills? What if they're afraid to come to law enforcement or go to authorities or anybody like that for fear of whatever punishment they may get?
I'll tell you, if it's a family member that didn't possess it themselves, but their children did, and they were able to get it from the children to have us check it, we're going to work with them. We're not going to turn around on a family that's trying to do the right thing. That would be counterproductive for us. Nobody would want to talk to us, and we need people talking to us. That's the same thing I get when, this is totally unrelated, but it's related in some sense, when we talk to people who are here illegally from Mexico. If we start making an example out of them for every little thing, for instance, driving with no driver's license, and start hammering them for that, they don't want to come forward to us as a witness when we really need them. So we're going to be selective in what we do. If it's something that's to the severity that's going to cause injury or death to our citizenry, we're going to prosecute. We're going to the fullest extent of the law. But we're going to work with people, especially even the illegal aliens here. If they do some minor offense, but they have information that they think that we need, we're going to work with them.
So is there any sort of official, like, medical amnesty in a situation if there is an emergency for someone to be able to report a fentanyl overdose if they say knew that there was fentanyl in the drugs?
You're talking about, I don't exactly understand your question.
Sorry, so in
That's
an
okay.
instance where there is a fentanyl overdose and
Mhm.
someone is on the fence of whether or not to call the authorities or to call 911.
Okay, let me, I think I know what you're saying. For instance, if a mother and dad or mother or dad finds their child passed out from the use of fentanyl and they find the fentanyl there, is there going to be any amnesty for possession by their son or by them or whomever?
For whoever discovers the person, or if it's also someone who might be participating in doing the illegal drugs.
Well, doing them but not selling them
If someone, okay,
okay, I think I know what you're saying.
there's a group of people, maybe one or two people, doesn't
Mhm.
matter how many.
Mm-hmm.
One of them decides to take the drugs, they're
Mhm.
illegal drugs.
Okay.
The other person realizes there is a medical emergency
Mhm.
going on, but they are aware and were participating in the act of doing illegal drugs. Is
Mhm.
there any sort of medical amnesty that they will have if they call 911?
Medical amnesty or criminal amnesty?
Both,
Okay.
doesn't matter.
I don't know what medical amnesty would be, but because we just deal with the criminal part. I will say it's going to depend. I can't say with 100% certainty, but many times, especially if the mother or dad or brother or sister or somebody else finds one pass out, and they've been three of them having a sleepover or something, and the other two are still there. One's been overdosed with fentanyl. We're going to investigate it, and it would behoove them to cooperate with the investigation, and then we'll see where that goes. I can't sit up here and give a carte blanche answer to a wide variety of things that could be happening. And I don't want to tie the hands of my detectives in doing so. Or be called to court later and say, well, Sheriff, you said that you would give them amnesty. I can't answer that. It's going to be depend on 100% of what happened in each separate instance. We're not here to ruin people's lives. We're here to save their lives. And whatever we can do to do that within our power, we're going to do it.
At the beginning, before we even started the official press conference, I believe you said something about this is happening to our younger population. This isn't necessarily affecting the older ones, but what does that tell
Well,
you?
it's happening really to both. And what I'll tell you, where I'm coming from the younger part, that hits law enforcement a lot harder than somebody that's old enough to really know better. They never had a chance to do anything. They never had a chance to get out here and get married. They never had a chance to have a child. They never had a chance to do anything. And that is something that we're going to stop. That's where the rubber meets the road with us here at the sheriff's office. And we're sick of seeing it. We're sick of getting these calls of overdose. Or used to when I first got here, nearly 12 years ago, I made it a rule that any unattended death in the Smith County will get a P1 page to myself and every chief deputy of mine. I get those all the time now, where the age is way younger than it was then. It's not a natural cause. It's not a heart attack. It's not from cancer. It's from overdose. And that has only happened to the extent it is now in the last 4 or 5 years. And I can tell you from talking to, I've worked the last year when I was president of the Sheriff's Association of Texas, I went and testified at each of the 4 special sessions on border security. I worked with every border sheriff from the top of Texas to the bottom. And I'm quite 100% in tune with what the problems they're seeing. And they're spilling over not only to us, but every state in the United States of America. And this isn't a political deal here. This is a life and death situation, and you can go look at the tombstones to see the result of it.
What other agencies in the Smith County area do you plan on, I don't know, partnering is the right
We're already partnering. That's another good question. What other agencies are we partnering with? About 5 or 6 years ago, we started the Texas Anti-Gang Unit here with the help of Governor Abbott. We were the 7th one, I believe, to join in a tag in the state of Texas. I think there's 9 now. And the technology and ability and putting federal, state, and local investigators under one roof has been a game changer. And we have technology now that I would never dreamed of when I first started in law enforcement. But anyway, so we're already doing that here. And we're going to increase interdiction along the interstate because, quite frankly, I don't want it to be a victim of a citizen of Smith County. But what I'm getting to is, why are we doing interdiction on interstate? Just to get money? No. It's to get the drugs off the street and stop human trafficking and stop the trafficking of the drugs due it's not the illegal alien influx into the United States that's causing the problem. It's what comes with them, what they're made to carry by the coyotes and the cartels when they come in the backpacks over here to buy their citizenship over here in the United States, or to get them here to start their citizenship. That's what is going on, and anything that makes money in Mexico, the cartel, I assure you, has their hand in it.
What kind of
I want to back up a little bit. I'm sorry. I was seeing why did Judge Jackson, what led them to leading to a warrant for arrest for Mr. Houston? I don't know if you touched on that.
It's an affidavit that we prepare, affidavit to show there's a probable cause to show that individual sold to the decedent the drugs that he took and overdosed and ultimately succumbed to his injuries and died. We have to provide a probable cause affidavit to Judge Jackson, who then issues a warrant. He issues the warrant as a result of what we provide, information we provide to him.
Was there some sort of tip, or did you get any? How did you get?
No. It's just as we said. I don't remember. There's probably just a press release. I don't even know if we did a press release, quite frankly, when this individual died, because it was just an overdose. Y'all don't come over here just for an overdose, but the overdose occurred, and we began. That keyed us up to, we're going to find out where this person was getting his fentanyl-laced drugs from, and so we started that investigation. And that's just like any drug investigation we do, starting from scratch. We don't come and report that to media because it wouldn't be very fruitful of what we come up with later, because we're broadcasting to everybody what we're doing. So it's an investigation, just like any other drug investigation or any criminal investigation. We've started investigation. We've developed the sources. We've gathered evidence, whether it be physical evidence. In this case, it was some physical evidence, as well as testimony that gives us the information we can put in a probable cause affidavit for arrest to present to the magistrate to issue the warrant.
Do you expect there to be other arrests in relation to this case?
It's unknown at this time. We're not finished with investigation. We just did this arrest of the current suspect, and the investigation by far is not over. And many times, if you'll start noticing, just like last weekend, I think my days are running together now. Last weekend, I believe, it might have been the weekend before last, there's some inquests that were happening in the city of Tyler and in Smith County where fentanyl is believed to be the cause. They're young people dying of overdoses, and the first clue nowadays is fentanyl. So what is happening in those investigations, most likely, some of these in the city, so I can't really speak for them, is they will do the post-mortem investigation, do the autopsy, see if there's any fentanyl involved, and then they will go backwards and start trying to find out where the source of supply for that fentanyl-laced drugs came from. That's what happened here in our situation, and it's a very difficult investigation because, number one, your main witness is deceased. So you have to rely on friends that you can gain their confidence. Again, we're not arresting them, but so that's the way the investigation goes.
What does the presence of fentanyl-laced drugs look like in the school districts in Smith County?
Well, I haven't seen anything in the school district itself. Most of the ones that we've seen, I'm trying to remember, I'm thinking there might have been a 17-year-old that we've suspected that died of fentanyl, but there's not a whole lot of younger ones that I can think of.
The reason I bring it up is because in Van Zandt County, they've had a big overhaul of that whole situation. Their DA is very into figuring out the presence of those illegal drugs in their school systems.
Yeah. Who did you say is looking into it?
Van Zandt County.
Oh, okay. I'll check with the sheriff over there and find out.
How often are y'all getting overdose calls related to fentanyl in Smith County?
I would say weekly, at least. Here recently, there's been at least weekly. Some of them have not succumbed to their injuries from taking.
Coming up at noon, severe flooding and hundreds of thousands of people without power in Louisiana. A look at all the damage from Francine. And a frightening wake-up call for a Tyler family when an SUV crashes straight into their living room. What people at the scene and police say happened.
Plus, damp and dreary skies are hanging over East Texas today and dropping areas of patchy drizzle. But we have a big change on the way tomorrow. I'll have your full forecast, so stay right there because the noon show starts right now.